Is this thing on?
Back to another episode of Spooled Life Live. I'm your host, Ram Garcia, and we are in the beautiful Roy's Bait and Tackle studio. We got a hell of a show. It's the start of 2024. I'm looking at my phone, right? We're making sure everything's happening here. Everything's good to go. We got a full crowd here at Roy's Bait and Tackle. If y'all are cruising in, I saw a whole bunch of motorcycles outside when I locked my keys in my truck, right? So I was out there checking it out, and they're going somewhere. If y'all are here in Corpus Christi, cruise on in to Roy's Bait and Tackle. Come see us here. We got Joe Alcala here to help you with all your fly fishing, conventional fishing, every type of fishing you need and you got or want to do. I guarantee you'll find it here at Roy's Bait and Tackle. Right now, what I'm looking at, I'm seeing the AFTCO stuff. I'm seeing the marshware stuff. I'm seeing some animals hanging on the wall over there. Some pretty nice looking mounts, right? Almost makes you want to feel like you're at Bass Pro Shop or something. It's like our very own Bass Pro Shops here in Corpus Christi, Texas.
Let's be honest. Roy's is what Bass Pro Shop wants to be when
Right,
they grow up.
right. Everybody from San Antonio is cruising at Bass Pro Shop. They're like, man, this is like a Roy's Bait and Tackle, right? Noe Zartucci's in the house. Jen Vino, Marcos Leal, and Jake Thompson are our first viewers to comment, right? We got a couple more, but Austin Matthews, of course, is back in 2024. Welcome back, everybody, right? Guys, we got some brand new and some returning headline sponsors. I want to give them a shout out before we get started. Of course, where our beautiful studio is at is Roy's Bait and Tackle, right? Sarge Custom Rods, AFTCO Clothing, Marshwear Clothing, Down South Lures, Tow Corpus Christi, and Karbach Brewery. Man, I wonder who in the world is going to call Tow Corpus Christi here in a couple of days, because it is going to get cold, guys. I'm not sure if it's bored the windows up cold, but it's going to get cold. And I highly doubt that it's going to be cold like the last cold where they took away all the trout, right? But we're going to get into that a little later because they're about to do it again. And I get it, right? I get the whole conservation, right? But you can't just pick a side when it comes to conservation, right? If you're going to be in the conservation, be about all the fish, not just the trout, right? Let's try to conserve the redfish, you know? Or if you want to take away speckled trout, you want to take away my 5, or even better, you want to take away my 10, which you did, right? Now you want to just give me 5, and now you just want to give me 3. Why not just give me an extra redfish, right? Or some extra drum, or some extra flounder, right? Guys, this isn't about me, right? It's not about the trout. It's not about Corpus Christi. It's not about where all them bikers were going. It's not about what they're serving at the trade center today, right? In those nice solo cups, keeping that corn, that Parmesan cheese nice and melted to a little hint of lemon and lime.
Hey, give me 10 minutes.
Guys, I have a hell of a show for y'all. Thank y'all for cruising in on this show number 55 of 2024. I got none other. Personal friend of mine, part of the Roy's Bait and Tackle team as well. I got none other than Glenn Madden in the house today. Thank you so much, man.
Glad to be here.
How was the drive?
Drive was good.
You're from Corpus, right?
Yeah.
Right. Was
Actually,
it
I came in from out at the deer property. I was out hunting this morning.
Oh yeah. I'm planning on doing some of that tomorrow, right? The season is coming to a close. I think we got a couple, maybe about 8 days.
For me, this was it.
Oh, today is it. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I was born and raised here in Corpus. During my college years, I went off to Texas A&M. I went to A&M Kingsville for 3 years. But
A&I,
it was when I
right?
started, it was A&M Kingsville when I finished.
Oh,
I was
really?
not happy they stuck that on my
Uh,
diploma. I was like, no, it's A&I. But, y- in growing up here, my dad liked to fish. He didn't know a whole lot about fishing. And so when I was young, I would go to a fishing pier. And there's always that one old guy on the fishing pier
oh, yeah.
who knows exactly what he's doing and
Oh,
doesn't
yeah.
say much. And I learned to watch and to observe. And so I would find that guy and I would ease in a little closer, and not cast close to where they were. I just want to learn.
Yeah. How old is Glenn right now at
Uh,
that time?
10, 12.
Oh, really? Okay.
And what I learned was frequently those guys will notice you and will call you over. It may take an hour or two, but they'll eventually call you over and say,
Right.
okay, what are you using for bait? Well, this is what I have. You got anything like this? No. Put one of these on,
Yeah.
and they'll give you something.
Or they'll let you use theirs. I ran across that a couple of times too.
Yeah, I had a lot of times where they would give me a bait like what they were using,
Yeah.
and then they would show me, okay, here's what you're going to do. You're going to cast like this. You're going to wait until this happens, and then here's how you're going to work the lure. And I would start catching fish.
Mhm.
And so slowly I kind of started picking up the ideas. And I think I was probably 14, and there was an old man at church that asked me one day, hey man, I go offshore in my boat. You like to fish? I said, yeah, I like to fish. You like to fish offshore? I said, I don't know. Let's do it. So he took me out in his little 17-foot, cheap, basic, old school V-hull, and we fished and we fished. And there were years where the king fishing was not what it is now. And I think we fished for 4 summers every weekend that we could get out there, and we caught one kingfish in 4 years.
Oh, wow.
And it wasn't because we were doing anything wrong. There just weren't a lot of fish.
Was there anybody on kayaks out there
No,
at this time?
no.
Oh, really?
It was before that. So, um, but I got the bug. And when I did finally catch a kingfish, I was like, okay, I'm going to figure this out.
Yeah.
And so the kingfishing got better over the next few years. And so my dad, or actually, I went fishing with one of my high school teachers in the flats, and we hit it off, good relationship, and we always would, message back and forth, and what are you catching, where are you going? And he called me one day and says, hey, do you remember Mr. Long, your English teacher from, I don't know, 10th grade or whatever? And I said, yeah. He said, well, he has a boat. I don't know, you and your dad may want to buy this boat from him because he's going to sell it. So it's a little McKee craft. I think it was 16 feet, 115 on the back, just enough to get offshore. And the kingfishing had gotten better by that point, and we would go and we would catch kingfish almost every time we were out there. And I started paying attention and getting better and really started picking up fish. And so it got to the point, catching 10 or 15 fish was not an issue. It was kind of the norm. Uh, and then I came home one day, went over to mom and dad's one day, and dad said, hey, we're going to move up to Sweetwater. We're going to sell the house. And I've already sold the boat. I was like, we bought that boat half and half, Dad. What about my half?
Mhm.
And he's like, well, sorry, I sold the boat. So I thought, well, I got to find another way to get offshore. And so the first 4 trips I went offshore after that, don't tell anybody, guys, but I did it in a 17-foot aluminum canoe.
Oh, wow.
And I did offshore trips in a canoe.
Hey, that's
Don't do that. Uh,
everybody was just watching you.
I had the game warden watching me and meet me on the beach one day when I came in, and he goes, Mr. Madden, what are you doing? And I said, well, I was fishing. What are you trying to catch? I said, well, I was trying to get that big shark on board, but I couldn't roll him into the boat. He was too big. He's like, oh, you think you had a shark because he was pulling you around? And I said, no, you didn't see me holding him by the tail for 30 minutes trying to wrestle him into the boat. And it was, I don't know, 7.5, maybe 8 feet, big shark.
Mhm.
Now I don't keep sharks. I have no interest in eating a shark, but I wanted one. And I
Yeah.
thought, my thought at that time was, I can eat it. I'm going to take it home.
Right.
So, uh, but that shark towed me a mile and a half towards Port A,
Oh, wow.
and I figured out how to steer him. And I got him up close, and I kept turning him, and I turned him around. He pulled me all the way back where we started. So I got a 3 mile ride out of him
Yeah.
before he played out, and finally
What
let
kind
him.
was it? Do you remember?
I'm not sure. Um, Eric Oslins could tell you if he caught a glimpse of it, but to
Yeah.
me, it was just I thought it was a black tip, but it was bigger than black tip. So
Oh, wow.
um, I don't think it was a bull, but who knows, a dusky or
Yeah.
something like that.
Who else was out there at this time offshore?
There were a few guys
But they were all
kayaking
in.
out there, but
Oh,
I didn't
really?
know them yet.
Okay.
So I did 4 trips in my kayak or my canoe, and realized this is not smart. One wave and we're under the water, and
Yeah.
there's no floating it again. So I started looking, and my first kayak that I found was a Malibu Extreme.
Mm.
It's a lime green, 15, little over 15 feet. I thought it was giant. Everybody else in kayaks thought it was giant, but I started going offshore. I was talking to buddies about what I was catching, what I was doing, and they didn't believe me. They were like, "You got to pictures, or it didn't happen."
Yeah.
So I picked up. I think Kodak used to make this little
Oh, yeah. Like,
$40
yeah.
action cam, and so I picked one of those up and started making videos.
Oh, wow.
And that was where my YouTube channel started.
Also,
Was
this is already close enough to where you're getting some sort of video
It was
footage
not very good, but
off
it
of
was video.
cameras.
Yeah.
It's not just spitting you out a piece of paper with
No,
a picture on it.
no. So yeah, I did go with a little waterproof camera a few times, but that's not as nice as video. So
Right.
I switched to a little video camera and I went through 4 or 5 of those, and they were waterproof, but not really. So you get a couple of seasons out of them, and you
Yeah.
put another $40 camera on the stick, and you go again.
Yeah. What year is this when it's all this is happening?
Um,
Now, how long have you been doing this?
I've been kayaking for, I'm going to guess, 12 or 13 years.
Okay.
So, and at that first year, when I started kayaking, I had a, I had probably the cheapest paddle off Amazon I could find. I don't even know what the name was, but it was heavy
Mm.
and aluminum with plastic coating. The thing weighed like 4 pounds, and everybody else would look at it and go, "Dude, you're going to get blisters from that thing, or you're going to rupture a muscle paddling with that thing." And
But that was the norm, right?
yeah,
Like a big heavy paddle was the norm
it was what
at
I
one
knew.
point. You know what I mean?
And to me, it was like, I'm gonna build muscle.
Yeah.
I'm gonna build myself up and be better at paddling. And so I would paddle, I don't know, 500-600 miles a year, even early on. And most people were like, "Why do you paddle so far?" So I don't know. In college, I was on a cycling team with A&M. I used to run distance. I like just get out and go.
Yeah.
So, and the more I would move around, the more fish I would find.
Because you're quite the paddler now.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
in like,
This last year, I paddled about 1,150 miles,
geez.
which I was hoping to get 1,200, but once the time changes in the fall, it's hard to get miles after work.
Yeah. So there's a lot of guys that are probably checking out the show that call themselves purist, right?
Yeah.
You're like the for real purist.
And there are people that are more extreme than me. I like plastic kayaks. I like fiberglass kayaks, but
Have you
I
ever
like
had
to
a kayak
paddle.
with a drive?
Um, I was sponsored by what was it called? Santa Cruz Kayak,
Okay.
and it's an odd shaped kayak. It's unique. It's very pointed in the front, but it splits to a V in the back.
I got
So it's 2 pontoons in the back.
you. Yeah.
And I used those for years, caught a lot of good fish on it. And at one point he came up with, it was one of the very first to come out with the first gen Hobie drive
Mm.
in it. And or you could put one in it. So I went out and found a Hobie drive, and I was the R&D guy for that company. And he says, "Get a drive and push it." He said, "This is not production yet. I don't know what the capacity is. I want to know how it performs and what we can do with it." So I pushed it. I loaded it with over 100 pounds of fish a couple of times and learned, okay, these pre-productions leak.
Oh,
So
wow.
you have to stop and pump the water out of the hull.
Oh, yeah.
and
That's always scary.
had an adventure one day where I attracted a tiger shark with my leaking fish bag. And about the time I needed to pump the water out of the hull to stay upright, he showed up and he's 12, 13 feet. And I'm like, this guy's starting to be aggressive and I'm not sure how this is going to end. But I ended up with my gaff in my lap
Just in case.
because he kept getting closer and closer. And I thought the next time he comes in, he's going to hit my kayak.
Yeah.
And I thought, I'm going to poke you in the eye with this gaff, buddy. And I don't know what's going to happen, but at least you're going to have one eye that's out.
Yeah.
And I kept looking for him and I heard, psh, psh, and I looked up and there's a porpoise group and they were hustling right to me
Oh, wow.
and they surrounded me
Man, so you're just attracting all kinds.
and they ran the shark off.
Yeah.
So they stayed with me all the way to the beach. And I'm like, guys, let me land the boat and I'll bring you a fish back out here. Y'all can have it.
Because they were hungry too. They weren't just trying to protect you.
I don't know. I took it as they wanted to run that shark off away from me, and that's what they did.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, that was really cool. They didn't wait for me to feed them. They took off
They took
after I
off.
hit the surf.
Man, that's
but
crazy.
yeah, it was
Right.
cool. It was a
That's
cool
when
day.
you would need a GoPro instead of that Polaroid you had.
Yeah, and I think because I already had 100 pounds of fish, I had already run the battery out.
Oh, yeah.
So there wasn't a way to film it at that point. But
Right.
it was a pucker factor day.
Right. So now you're full blown paddle again.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah, no, I used that boat for 3 months and I was able to show the capabilities of it.
Yeah.
And he started selling them. He got it produced. And I went back to the paddle boat and told him I'd rather paddle.
What happened to that kayak? That brand? Are they still around?
They're still around. The original owner sold it and
What
it's
was it?
under
Santa Cruz or something?
Santa Cruz.
Santa Cruz
Yeah.
kayaks? Right. You could be able to close those. It was like a pontoon on the back, right? They would split apart.
It was split with a big deck.
Yeah.
And so I would I made a frame and mounted it in the back for my big fish bag.
Yeah.
And it worked well. It was
What
not
do
the
you want, a
fastest.
Viking?
I'm on a Viking and I'm sponsored by Viking, so I'm mostly on a Viking.
Okay.
Although if you're going to have a plastic kayak, and I wanted one boat that will do everything well.
Mhm.
And I haven't found one better than the Viking Reload.
Okay.
It has speed, it has a good glide, it goes shallow, it's quiet, and it's durable.
Is that a good standing up kayak?
No,
Like flats?
no, but for me,
Fight cast?
I'm 6'4" and change, and I
You don't
I
want to
don't
stand
want to
up.
stand up. It
You don't want to be standing up anyways, yeah.
No, the smaller frame guys like to stand up,
Yeah.
and it works better for them.
Right.
I'm tall enough, and I can sneak up on redfish in the shallows where I get 15 feet from them and they don't know I'm there. I don't need to stand up.
Right.
I'm looking at them.
Yeah. You could see them at the sitting down
Yeah.
standpoint.
Yeah. And I could see them from further if I did stand up, but they can see me too.
You have a motor on it or anything?
Nope.
No? Man, so you're full blown. What kind of paddle do you use?
I've come a long way.
Really? From the
So
heavy ones?
from the heavy ones. And then at one point, a friend sold me his used Werner that was fiberglass, but it was super light compared to what I was used to.
Right.
And it was stronger. And I learned to appreciate a quality paddle real quick. And so I've been through a couple of different brands and I came back to Werner. I haven't found anything better or stronger than that. Everything's cheaper.
Oh, yeah.
So the full carbon Werners, I think I have 5 of them at the house now.
Oh, wow.
And they're $400 to $600 a piece.
Jeez, man.
But
that's what scares me away.
But that's your motor.
Yeah, that's half the price of your motor.
And I'll get 2,000 miles out of a paddle before it starts to get a little loose.
Yeah.
And then I have 3 of them that are worn out waiting for me to go to. I work at Del Mar as a professor. So I'm going to go to the machine shop area and drill out both ends and glue them together with another piece of carbon fiber.
Okay.
And just make a one piece out of it.
And so you're in the education.
Yeah.
Right. Shout out to you, man. What are we drinking here? Monster?
Yeah, right? I do have a
You already ran out too. Shout out to all the education, all the people watching that are in the education field, right? Because without you, we probably wouldn't even be able to afford them $400 paddles, right?
And thanks for coming to college and taking the classes, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to afford it.
I was pretty well known in the Harvin Center. out there at Delmar, right? Back in my day,
Were you a
2000,
cheese sandwich guy?
huh? 2001 ish, around there. Were you there? Were
Yeah.
you already
Um,
employed by them? 2001 ish.
oh, 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 04, oh 05 is about when I started as an adjunct there.
Okay. What is that? What do you do
Adjunct
there?
is part-time.
Okay. What do you do else? Or are you retired or something?
No, I'm full-time. I'm an associate professor of surgical technology.
Oh, wow, man.
So I teach people how to assist the doctors in surgery.
That's amazing, dude.
And I'm also the department chair for allied health. So I oversee, not run, I oversee 9 different programs.
Yeah. So you're not a fishing guy,
No,
captain.
nope.
This is just for fun.
This is for fun.
Yeah. That's cool, man. What why fishing?
Um, I've always loved
Because
the
you're about
outdoors.
45,
55.
55 around there, right? Why fishing? And why stick to it?
I've always found it one of those things that it's relaxing.
Right.
You can chase it as hard and serious as you want to, but you don't have to.
Yeah.
You want to dial it back and just have some fun with it, you can. You always get something to eat out of it, and there's always room to grow. You
Yeah.
think you've got it dialed in, look around. Somebody out there is way better than you are at
Oh yeah.
exactly what you think you're so good at, and you've got room to grow.
Yeah. Because I was about to say, man, I bet you get the doors blown off you every time fishing. But I've ran into you out on the water, and you're pretty fast with that kayak with a
Yeah, that
paddle.
I fish the back bay a lot at back of Nueces,
Yeah.
in back in the super flat, skinny mud, and most of the guys back there run motors,
Oh yeah.
and I love it because I can see them, and I'll not only will I overtake them, but I take off and leave them in the dust,
Yeah.
and it's like, how do you do that? I had a game warden one time pull me over, and he goes, "Hey,
Gave you a
where's
speeding
your
ticket.
motor, and why don't you have this boat registered?" I said,
Oh,
it's a two-stroke.
there you go.
I don't know what to tell you. I don't
Yeah.
need a registration.
Here's my registration.
Yeah, yeah. And he looked in the hatches. He was sure there was a motor in there
Oh,
somewhere.
really?
And I was like, I just like to paddle hard.
Yeah. Thank God, man. I've never gotten pulled over by the game warden with my motor. I mean, I've left the I was actually a purist back in I want to say 2001-ish, around there. My first kayak was a Cobra fish and dive, and it was a big kayak. Of course, I'm a big guy, right? On all the shows before this one, I've been the bigger guy, right? And now I read a comment earlier that I look like the smaller guy. Hey, but that's okay, right? I'm able to stand up on my kayak, guys, right? Man, but that kayak, dude, it was before, man, all of these maybe it wasn't before like all the yak gears and all of the rail blazers and all of the yak attackers and all that stuff. So we kind of made our own stuff.
Yeah.
So, dude, I was putting carbon steel stuff on this kayak. I had no idea, right? And I'm pretty sure I added about 50 more pounds just in accessories, home built accessories. And I paddled that damn thing, dude. So when I got my first pedal drive, it was amazing. And everybody made fun of me for it, you know? Oh, that's not a kayaker, right? I'm not a kayaker now. Dude, now if you ain't got a pedal drive or now just the motor scene, right? There's a lot of things going on just with the motors, especially from them freshwater guys. They don't want them motors, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of guys that are that way. Me personally, I don't care. We're all out there trying to fish.
Right.
We're doing it. A lot of people, it's because they have limited budget. And it's like, I
Yeah.
can't afford that
It's
$150,000
tough.
bass boat, but I can afford a Hobie with a pedal drive, and
Right.
that's what I'm gonna push.
Yeah.
For me, I like to paddle, and so the Viking is one I paddle a lot, but I also enjoy exercise on a kayak.
Yeah.
And so after work, especially in spring when the winds are really up, I've learned as long as it's sustained under 42, I can go off into the bay and surf in the afternoons
And that's just
on my
cruising
kayak.
though.
No,
Or
it's
are you
not
taking a
cruising. You're
fishing
working
rod?
hard. No, 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 no. It's just exercise.
Yeah, just cruising around with the kayak, right?
Yep.
Okay.
But I'll also hit 12 miles an hour every time I'm out there.
Oh wow.
And I've gotten up to 15 on some really nice windy days where the surf was organized in the bay. But when you get your kayak up on a plane and you're paddling, that's pretty sweet.
That's a sustained 15. Like
No,
that's the
no, but
waves
it's showing
pushing
up
you
on my
at 15.
GPS. I'm on the wave. I'm surfing waves.
Okay. That's not even paddling. You're just
No, you're paddling to stay on the wave.
okay, okay. So that's
So
not like a motor.
so
I'm
the
trying to compare your paddling to me putting it on high.
no, I'm doing cardio and I can only do it for so long before I have to stop and rest
All
to get my
right, I
heart rate
got
back down.
you. Yeah. But still, that's hauling ass, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And it makes you smile even when you've done it 100 times.
Oh yeah.
It's always like, okay, I'm gonna go do this again tomorrow.
Have you ever ran into some people that are like, dude, what kind of damn kayak is that? You know?
Yes, because
Is it the kayak?
Viking makes an exercise kayak.
Really?
It's a ski. It's designed for like out at the island playing in the surf. But the surf on the island is too slow.
Uh
The one in the bay gets a little faster
oh really?
in windy days.
Okay.
And so I can
Why
get
is that, you think? Deeper?
it's the depth.
Deeper?
So
Off the
if
edge,
you
I guess,
go
right?
a mile offshore, the waves are faster. I
Yeah.
don't know if you've ever noticed that coming back in. You can't keep up with the waves a mile out there, but the closer you get to the shore, the slower they get.
Oh, dude. I remember you were there as well on the and it was weird, man, because I go through my pictures quite frequently, right? Just to keep up with content, pumping out brand new content to the media feeds. And when I purchase something on online, I usually take a screenshot it because I know they're going to try to get me, you know. This was the Blue Water kayak series. I want to say at that time it was less than $100. Was it?
Early on, yeah.
Right?
Hmm.
Well, this was the last one that happened when they busted us. The Coast Guard was out there and all that stuff, and people were flipping all over the place, and
It was a rough day.
panic was setting in and everything. That
Actually,
was
where
tough
did you
getting
fish
back
that day?
in. Huh?
Where'd you fish that day?
We fished those rigs right there,
Okay.
right at the
I went to
sticks.
Port Aransas
Oh wow,
because I knew the waves are coming out of the north. The jetties are going to offer the only easy way out.
protection, right? Yeah,
And so the surf was running 5 foot or more that day. It was nasty.
yeah.
And I got out
Oh yeah, it was horrible, dude.
easy.
Yeah,
And on my video, I was like, sorry, guys, if you didn't choose the Port A jetties, you chose wrong because
yeah.
it's nasty. It's going to be a lot of gear loss. But I went to the ships anchored out there. And one of those ships had the markings on the side for the depth.
Uh-huh.
The swells were 20 feet.
Jeez. Yeah, that was the
It doesn't
last
even
time.
feel like it when you're out there
That
because
was the last time
it's
the Blue
so
Water series
gradual.
came to Corpus.
Yeah.
I wonder
And
they
it
probably
was,
kicked them out of Corpus, did they?
no, the guy who ran it had enough of it
Yeah.
Kevin, he handed it off to some other guys and it was like,
It's probably a pain
kind
in
of
the
a big
butt,
chore.
man.
Yeah,
It's a lot of work to
it
put on
is.
these tournaments, and in turn, for people just to talk bad about them, right?
Yeah, there's always people who are unhappy.
That was the extreme. We got Todd Johnson in the house, and he's finally got some rest. He's got a brand new baby at the house, right?
Maverick.
You got to get sleep when you can, when you got a brand new baby. Um,
He learned it. He earned the art of changing blowouts
oh,
yesterday,
dude,
I think.
that's tough, man. And they don't even give you a warning,
Oh no.
babies. You know, mine, I have one. Well, I had one. She's 7 now. And she would do a face. You started, like, dude, you're like a hawk. When you got a kid like that age, you're a hawk.
When they start concentrating, you're in
Yeah.
trouble.
At my dad's house, he's putting, y'all think that Home Depot ran out of pipe insulation because of the freeze. They ran out of pipe insulation because my dad went to go buy them all to cover the edges of the corners on the wall. You know what I mean? And put around the legs of the sofas and stuff like that, right? So she would make a face, man, and I'm like, dude, not again, dude. Right?
Here it comes.
Here comes pamper time, bro. Dude, I changed her first pamper. I might tear up, man. Right now. It's a big deal, man. Congratulations to Todd Johnson. He has a brand new baby, but he's saying that it was the extreme.
That one was also really, really
That
bad.
one was bad.
Yeah. Yeah, because I don't think the last Blue Water Kayak Classic was that bad of weather. But we did have one year that was just
Yeah.
terrible.
Neither one of them are here anymore. Ain't that
No.
crazy?
Now the extreme still happens in Florida, but he only brought it over here once, and
Oh,
he it left a real bad taste in his mouth when the Coast Guard shut us down.
yeah. It had nothing to do with the Corpus Christi Council.
No, it was Coast Guard.
It was Coast Guard. Yeah. Man, that was scary. I had never been at the rigs and the helicopters come out and them telling you to get
Yeah.
off the water, right? We had made a bet amongst our friends on who was going to be able to make it out, right? I mean, typically trying to make it out is the easy part, right? Coming back in.
And the extreme was a group launch. It was one location.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody takes off
Yeah.
together. It was over 100 guys registered, and maybe Todd will chime in, but there were not that many who got out.
No, I was one of them that got out. Thank God, right?
Me too.
But dude, I remember you not even flipping on coming on in.
No, and I had like 40 guys watching me when I hit the beach, and I'm like, "What are y'all looking
Yeah.
at?" And they're like, "How did you not flip?"
Yeah, they thought it was Jesus coming out of that
And I
water.
was like, "I didn't want to flip. I
Yeah.
I really didn't."
Oh, I flipped. And I got a hook in my foot.
There were Hobie TIs and AIs that were
Oh
flipped
yeah.
upside down
Yeah.
with the spar in the
How in the
sand.
hell did they flip that thing over?
They hooked them to a truck and a big rope.
Did they?
Yeah.
Because I want to say they flipped it out there. And they
Yeah.
were able to
Yeah, they got a hold of one corner with the
float it.
truck and pulled it right side up and
Oh
then
wow.
floated it.
That was probably about the time where I had that hook in my leg. Guys, if y'all are offshore kayakers and y'all are getting into this, rig down y'all stuff. I was, of course, in panic mode, right? Um, I forget how big the swells were, but they were big, right? And you see a Coast Guard chopper come into the rigs, you want to get the hell out of there because something is a big deal.
Well, that tournament, it had been blowing like 30 plus all night long. And so the surf was probably only no more than like 4 feet, I
Yeah,
think. But it was soup. It was just nasty.
yeah, it was like a washing machine out
Yeah.
there. Well, anyways, I didn't rig down. Of course, I don't think I've ever came in from offshore on my kayak. As weird as that may seem, right?
The first couple of years I fished offshore a lot, I would always swim it in.
Yeah, I just jump off, right? Well, I take that back. There was one year that I did come in, but it was none. There was no surf at all. I didn't rig down. I get a footed. I get a hook in my foot, and of course my rod is still in the rod holder. So every wave that's pushing that kayak in, and I'm staying still, is digging that hook.
You're out of the kayak now.
Yeah, I'm out of the kayak,
Ouch.
and Boomy is recording this instead of helping me. Right? Well, I get it.
Made a
Right?
good video
Yeah,
out of
that's good content. Right? So I'm not in full blown panic mode because I know that my kayak is going to end up on shore
Right.
at some point, right? I just need to hold on, and I got my kayak vest, right? I got my PFD, and what one thing that I wish I had was a knife, right? Or a line cutters. Cut that line off, and then I would have been perfect. I would have let that damn kayak sink,
See, all that
right?
offshore time ingrained that into me. And so on my PFD, I've got a pair of
Yeah.
cutters right there on my life jacket.
Yeah, that's a necessity, right? So my buddy, good friend of mine, Chris Castro, is watching us, is watching me, right? And he's on shore. He probably didn't make it out. Right.
I don't know if he did or not.
I'm just kidding. I'm not sure if he did.
He
Maybe
didn't
he.
catch fish. I think
Yeah,
only 3 of us caught fish.
yeah, I didn't catch no fish at all. I had one hit, and the Coast Guard blew it. Right, scared the fish away. I'm just kidding. So he comes over, man, like a god, like Pegasus, and I'm not sure if he. I want to say he did cut the line, and I was able to just to swim back. And of course, the kayak was filled with water. Um, man, crazy, dude. Crazy
I'll tell you
time.
what, the Florida guys used to talk a lot of crap about us and our surf until
Oh
that
yeah,
day. They didn't say
yeah,
too much after that. It was like,
right.
oh, that's no joke.
Yeah, it was a big deal, man. Thank God nobody got severely injured or worse, right?
And better yet, I got paid.
Oh, you won.
I got second.
Who? Vega. Vega was the one that won, right?
It was a guy from the valley. I don't
Yeah.
know.
What's his name? Somebody mentioned Todd's got to know the guy's name. I want to say it was Ernest something, Ernest Vega or something.
I think Ernest is right. I don't remember
It
the
wasn't.
last
It definitely wasn't Marshall,
name. No.
right? So I want to say his name was Vega, right? Moving along, paddle or pedal? If you had to go outside right now and pick a kayak, and you're going to pick any kayak you wanted, are you going to go with a pedal kayak or a paddle kayak?
First, I already have 5 in my garage, so I don't have any more room.
And those are all paddle,
They're all paddle.
right? Why? Why paddle?
Um, I enjoy paddling.
For the exercise?
I like it for the exercise. And in the last 10 or 11 years, I've had 2 neck surgeries
I'll
where,
stop you real quick. Ernie Vega was his name,
there you
the
go.
guy's name.
So I've had 2 neck surgeries in the last 10 or 11 years where 4 of my bones in my neck are fused now.
Is that due to the paddling?
No,
Oh, that's not.
no, the paddling is a response to it.
Oh,
So the more I paddle, the better I sleep at night.
oh, wow.
So after the second surgery, I couldn't sleep at night. I would get 2, 3 hours of sleep,
Yeah.
and I was like, this is not going to work.
Hmm.
And so when I started paddling, I started sleeping better
Right.
when I got back into paddling. And so I haven't looked back. And so I just paddle a lot. And yeah, I know the paddling works for a lot of people. And I have no problem with people who do that.
Yeah.
I have no problem with the people that run motors and outboards and whatever else. It's all fine.
Yeah.
Um, but for me, hand me a paddle and get out of my way. I'm going to run past you.
Yeah. You will. I'm more of like the biggest, baddest motor out there. I think right now I have a Torpedo 1104 or 3 or whatever they call it. 3 horsepower. Is it stealth? Like, is the stealth
Um,
of the paddle
that's a big piece of it.
right?
For when you're offshore, it doesn't matter as
No,
much.
no, yeah.
But when you're in 6 inches of water in the back bay and you're trying to sneak up on a redfish, a motor's not going to get you there. And the
Yeah.
Hobie, you're going to have to paddle anyway because it's too shallow for the drive.
Yeah.
So I would rather be in a paddle designed boat and be able to efficiently and smoothly get in close on that fish.
Yeah.
And I very rarely get discovered. That's not where I blow it if I blow it.
I've seen a couple of guys with the Vikings. Vikings. Right?
Mhm.
They have motors on them.
Yeah.
Pretty fast kayak if you put a motor on a Viking kayak, right?
Yeah.
So it is possible.
And the one, my other Viking is the Viking. It's a 570. It's just over 18 feet long, 24 inches
18
wide,
feet long.
and
Oh
24
wow.
inches wide,
Oh wow.
and shaped like a U on the bottom.
Oh dude, I'd flip over in a
Yeah.
heartbeat.
Oh, I fell out of it at least 100 times in the first couple of months I used it. Every time I would fall out,
Yeah.
but it was so much fun. It's so fast.
How do you get back on a thing like that?
It's surprisingly easy.
Really? So
It's very low to the
it's
water.
made to flip.
It's made to it's made where it's easy
Flip
to recover.
over.
Yeah.
Right? If it's made to flip, it's made to flip over.
And like I said, in spring, I'll get out there 30-mile-an-hour winds plus, and it is choppy and nasty.
Yeah.
And if I fall out, I don't care. Roll it over. Let's get back in and go do it again.
Yeah. So some of these guys know you as Professor Salt, right? Obviously the name comes from
From my job.
right your work.
Yeah. So when I joined Texas Kayak Fishermen, the TKF forum years ago,
Mhm.
and you got to pick a nickname.
Oh yeah.
And I thought, well, I've heard that one thrown around, so I'll put that one on.
Yeah.
So Professor Salt, I use that as my nickname, and it's stuck. And half the time, I don't know. I think most people know what my name is, but half the time people just call me Professor Salt when I.
Yeah, it's catchy.
Yeah.
I think I had like I needed my gallbladder removed or something, and I was like looking through my insurance, looking to see if Professor Salt was in there, like a doctor or something, right?
Nope.
Nope, he wasn't in there.
I taught a few of the doctors that are here in town now.
Oh
Back
yeah.
in the day.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh wow, man, that's cool, dude.
Yep.
The we're at a segment that I like to call current events,
Okay.
right? And we got about 5 minutes to spill the beans. And when I say go, you got to go, right? We're gonna spill the beans on the new trout proposals. What do you think?
My personal thought. If it goes through as they're looking at it now, I would prefer it to stay as it is. Um, I think if the
Where's the
idea,
mute button here?
if well, I mean, I'd prefer to keep 5
Oh yeah.
like you can
Oh
now.
yeah, yeah.
Um, I like the idea with redfish that you can keep one big redfish a year.
Right.
You got a tag, use it anytime you
Is
want.
that with your 3, or can you keep 4? Or I can keep 3 and then I can keep
Honestly, I
an
don't know.
extra
If I'm
with
going
my
to keep my
tag.
big one and tag it, that's one of my 3. That's how I do it. But
Okay, yeah.
I don't know legally if you could keep another. But I wish they would do the trout that way. Nobody needs a 28-inch trout every day.
Yeah.
So those are the ones that produce a ton of babies. They make the eggs like you want. They reproduce a lot. Leave those trout alone. I mean, release them.
Right.
If you want to catch one per year and that's your trophy, you're going to get it mounted or whatever, go for it. Tag it.
Yeah.
Give us a trout tag like we have with a redfish tag. But the way they're doing it is, oh, you can only keep 3 a day. One of them can be over 25.
Hmm.
And I'm like, well, if you know where the big fish are, you can still wipe out those big fish
Yeah.
if you know where they're at and
Yeah.
you're legally are harvesting them.
Right.
If the idea is let's recover the numbers, I don't catch big trout that often. Most people probably don't. I know a couple of people who probably could, but most of us can't. And so those big trout are kind of few and far between. I don't need one a day.
Right.
And I would feel bad keeping a big trout every day. But if I catch a 27 incher and it dies, I don't want to throw it back. I want
Right.
to keep it.
Yeah.
So and with redfish,
That
that's what I
one's
use my
tough
tag
because
for is when
if
I
you
catch.
got that thing, they're going to give you a ticket.
Yeah. And so with reds, when I catch a big oversized red and it's deep hooked and I don't think it's going to make it, fine. I'll tag it, put it on the line or put
Right.
it on the stringer. And that's what I use my redfish tag for.
Hmm.
So I've caught them in the Gulf near the oil rigs. I think I caught a 46-inch red one day on a live moonfish,
Oh, really?
and he inhaled it and pulled up this gigantic red. And I'm like, wow, biggest redfish I've ever caught. But I have no desire to keep him
Yeah.
because he's not going to be that great to eat. So get a picture, put him back. That's
Yeah.
fine. For the trout rigs, I would like to be able to keep 5 trout. I, kn- I, I'm a little worried about what it's going to do to the fishery for guides. If you're going to pay
Those
$300
are the
for your
guys that are
trout
mad.
trip and make 3 trout that are all small,
Yeah.
that's all you get.
Yeah.
I don't know how that's going to play.
Man, y'all already know my opinions, right, on this. But who's to blame here, right? Who's to blame? Is it the avid angler, right? The social media influencer, or is it the guy that doesn't even have media, right? Is it the guy that just goes out there and wants to keep everything he catches, right? Because the people
I
with
see Todd looking at me.
right, the people with voice, right, are on social media, right? You see it. You see a trout proposal post every 3 posts you're scrolling. You know, why not? I've said it in the past. Why not keep the limits the way they are and just hire more wardens?
Or my, I think a part of it that we don't really address, or I haven't seen addressed the way I wish it would be, is looking at who's really harvesting the majority of the trout.
Yeah.
And I think it's guides who load a boat 2 or 3 times a day, and everyone wants to take a limited fish home. And they know where to find those little school fish, and they
Yeah.
go catch them.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, every year you're probably pulling 5,000 trout out of the bay.
Yeah.
On a good year, I may pull 100 trout out of the bay.
Yeah.
And so it's not really apples and apples. I wish if they really are worried about the trout numbers, I kind of wish they would separate guides and recreational anglers
Oh,
and say, okay, for guides, there's a quota.
yeah,
Every week you tell us how many fish did you bring in.
yeah. But that would mean more work.
Yeah, it would mean
Texas
taking it
Parks and
serious
Wildlife. Yeah,
rather than punishing everybody where, oh, you can only keep 3 fish. Well, if you only come to the
yeah.
coast 1 or 2 times a year and you can only keep 3 fish, it's like, that's not
Do you
really.
think the guides? Well,
And
I
and
do.
I don't mean to be bashing guides.
No.
They have a job to do, and they're needed
Oh,
for a
this is
lot of
real,
the
dude.
population.
This is real and raw right here. You know, right? I feel the guides are 100% at fault, right? I feel the kayaker is at fault as well, right? I feel the person that doesn't buy his fishing license is at fault as well too, right? But there is comments. I'm going to put the blame on somebody else here. There is comments rolling around that it's the influx, the pandemic of guides that are out right now. But most of them guides, the new ones, right? The ones that want to put captain in front of their Instagram posts and
Yeah.
stuff, those just don't catch a whole bunch of trout. You know what I mean?
And in the right conditions, everybody can catch lots of trout. But then when it's tough
Maybe.
and it separates, the really good fishermen from the rest of us,
Yeah.
they're more lumped in with the rest of us sometimes.
Right. It's a big deal. I get it. Do you think the freeze had to do anything with it?
I think further north it did.
Really?
This last freeze that was like 5 days, and there was a pretty major fish kill here locally. There was a big fish kill, but I caught more big trout after that freeze in the next 6 months than I had in years.
Right.
I would see a wake on the shoreline in the back of Nueces Bay and cast over there and catch it, and it's a 27-inch trout rather than a red.
Yeah.
And I'm like, where did you come from? I
Oh
thought
yeah.
y'all were all dead.
Yeah.
They weren't. They're not all dead.
Because these proposals are for the coast of Texas,
Yeah,
right? They took away our five north of the JFK.
it's kind of like the red snapper
You could keep
debacle,
them
where,
south.
oh, the Gulf is all the same. No, we're not.
Yeah.
Florida has got a different set of
But if
issues
these
than us.
proposals go through, it's for everybody now.
Right.
Oh man, dude. I'd be mad. I'd be
And and
mad, guys.
and the fishing people in South Padre, they don't have a freeze issue.
No.
So for them, it's a different set of circumstances. I really
Yeah.
kind of wish they would localize it and say, okay, these are the base systems. Here's your rules.
Yeah.
And if
No.
if your
I
base
don't know.
system,
Maybe.
if your base system, the trout fishing stinks, and you really need to recover it, buckle down
Yeah.
for a while and recover that fishery.
I feel like this is more of a policing ourselves issue, right? I mean, I
'Cause
don't know.
I am one of those guys. If it's legal to catch 10 trout, sometimes I'm going to keep 10 trout.
Oh, I guarantee it, dude. I'm too. Because I can,
Yeah.
right? And I want to
So it comes
that
back
day.
to, we got to have rules of some sort to kind of regulate the fishery so that we're not overdoing it. Because if you just said there are no rules, you can catch whatever you want,
Yeah.
like in Okinawa, where my son was in the Marine Corps, and I said, "How great is the fishing?" He said, "It's terrible. I caught a fish 4 inches long, and locals showed up, and they all wanted it because they can't catch fish.
Oh, yeah.
They're further offshore, but the local ones have all been fished out because you don't need a license. There's no limits. You can catch whatever. So you can wipe it out.
Yeah.
So it's a finite resource. We got to be careful with it. We got to be thoughtful with it. I just think um, you need to look at where are most of the fish being pulled out, and maybe start addressing that first
How do
rather
they
than
find that out?
recreational anglers. You can ask guide, or you can require guides to report what
Oh,
you're
that's a good
catching
one.
every week,
That would be a good one.
or they could do it with all of us. I
Yeah,
mean,
I
on your
like
hunting
that.
license, you kill a deer, you have to write that down on the license.
Digitally. Now that the licenses are digitally, hey, tell me how many fish you caught.
And I mean,
And
I've
we're
got
going to
I've
police
got
it.
a paper license, but if they pull it in August, they can see, oh yeah, last year you got these $3, and these are the dates, and this was the size, and where you got them.
Yeah.
We have to record it.
Dude, that's a good one. That's the difference between Del Mar and Robstown High School. Right? Right there. What I would like to see is And I don't even know, man, because it's tough. It's a tough thing to jump into somebody's wallet, right? I get that's why the guides are mad because that's how they make a living. A true guide that is full blown guide fishing. And that's how he makes a living. Not, I hate to say part time because there's a lot of guides that are part time that would make more sense if they were full time, right? They still have a second job. I get it, right? But it, I still think that it's not. And you go to these meetings, they're going to tell you, hey, guess what? We got a meeting. Come on in. We want to hear your thoughts. But I feel like they already got their minds made up, you know? I don't know. Maybe.
And I don't know a lot of guides, but I know a few. Dean Thomas over in Aransas Pass, good guy, friend of mine.
Yeah.
And when he has clients show up, he talks to them about, okay, what are you trying to get out of this trip? And do you
Oh, yeah.
do you want to keep fish? Do you need to keep fish?
Yeah.
And so he encourages people not to keep fish, to do catch and release. And he's like, we can make good pictures. He's become a good photographer, and that really helps because if you can take home good pictures, all right, a lot of people are like, I'll take that. I'll just eat it, the seafood place on the way out,
Yeah.
and I'll get my trout there.
We'll stop at Dairy Queen.
Yeah,
Right.
or someplace nice in Port A or over Rances Pass or something. Um, but he encourages people to catch and release. But if every person shows up and says, no, I want to keep my limit if I can catch it, he's not going to try not to catch you fish. I mean,
Yeah.
to me, it's a piece we need to look at.
Yeah. Some of the guys are full blown.
That's where a lot of fish are
Y'all aren't
coming out of the
keeping
water.
anything. Guess what? You're going to come with me, but y'all ain't keeping anything at all. We're going to release everything.
And I mean,
That's tough.
props to those guys. If you can make a living and do that, and
Yeah.
there's plenty of people that want to hire a guide who feels that way.
And then they get mad because you're there at their spot the next week. Man, you don't
That's a
want me to
different
keep
issue.
any fish, and now you don't want me to come back to your spot that I paid for. I mean, goddamn. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a it's a tough one, guys. Right.
Well, spots is a whole different issue.
CCA. Where's CCA at? What's CCA's point in all of this?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure how successful their trout stocking is. I know they don't tout it near as much as redfish, and I know they're putting a
Right.
lot of money and research into flounder
Oh yeah.
because you got to admit our flounder fishery is not nearly what it used to be.
Right.
I don't know if you floundered as a kid.
No, I've
But
never really floundered.
it's nowhere near what it used to be.
The flounder I catch is just, hey, guess what? Oh shit, I caught a flounder, dude.
Yeah, it's just accidental.
Yeah, yeah.
And this year, during the prohibited time from November 15th or November and up to first half of December, that's when the flounder are moving out. And so I kind of know where to go look for them. So I was trying to learn how do you catch flounder. It was all catch and release.
Really?
I caught my best flounder at 24 inches. I mean, I've gigged them bigger than that, but I've never caught one that big on a rod and reel on purpose. Um, that was kind of hard to release. It was a really pretty fish.
Oh man.
But it is what it is. I mean, it's like it's close season. Fine, I'll put it back.
Yeah.
And but I learned a lot. So I think now, once the flounder come back later in the spring and get back in the bay system, I'm going to spend a little time looking for flounder intentionally.
Right.
But like I said, their numbers are not where they used to be. It used to be easy to catch some pretty solid fish, and now a big flounder is pretty unusual.
Right. Austin Matthews comments, they do. I was in on the last meeting this past week. They have what they are proposing and not considering listening to change their proposal. That's a big deal, man. But what do you do? What can you do, man? That's my point to where we will never see, no matter how well the trout fishery is, you will never see that you could keep 10 trout again.
Probably.
They take away the 5, you will never see that 5 again. Ever. No matter how many sunsets you got, you're never going to see it again. Let's move along before we get mad. Martin Giddens is in the house. Burley Pro has made it to the U.S., and we're in full effect here. Tournament fishing. Are you a tournament angler?
I have fished tournaments. I don't fish a lot of tournaments, no.
No.
I to be honest, I don't enjoy that format. Um, I'm as competitive as the next guy, but in my experience, when you start putting money on the line, especially if it's very much money,
Yeah.
good people start cheating.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, man, I used to like that guy and have a lot of respect for that guy. And now I'm not sure what he's
Yeah.
trying to cheat. And that's not cool.
Yeah. Once they put money on the line, nobody's friends anymore.
So, I mean, offshore, I did a few, called them Professor Salt's King of the Beach. And it was just, I'll take,
Oh, you had your own tournament.
yeah, I've done
Oh,
that a
wow.
few times where
Okay.
I'll take up to 30 people, $20. Everybody pays $20. The single
Like a
longest
gentleman's
fish
bet.
and the single longest fish at the end wins. And it's a group launch. Everybody meets back at my trailer. That's where the ruler is. And we measure fish.
Yeah.
And we had some tough ones where it was like the guy had a 22-inch Spanish mackerel was the only fish that was
Oh,
caught.
yeah.
And I was like, it's just a bad day, guys. But hey, you just won $400.
Yeah.
And I enjoy that because it stays small and I limited it, didn't want a lot of money. I didn't want a lot of sponsorships. Roy's and some others were saying, hey, we could give you items to give out. And I thought, I don't really want that feel for this. I want this to just be small. It's just for fun.
Like an
It's just simple.
invitational.
Kind of. I did it more first come, first serve. I just wanted to limit the size.
Yeah.
But I did that extreme tournament offshore and won second in that. I won a custom rod and I won a couple $1,000. That was nice. But it just takes on a different feel where you kind of feel like you got to watch everybody who's trying to cheat, who's trying
Oh,
to
yeah.
scam, who's trying to do this
That
stuff.
sucks, man. Once you start going through the list on who's participating in this tournament, and you make your decision that you don't want to fish because of that selected person. Yeah, that's
And I've seen some of that, and I don't feel that way. It's like, all right, so if Angler X is in the game, I'm probably not going to beat them.
right.
But for me, it's like it should be fun. It should be a fun event. Blue Water Kayak Classic was that way. It was a fun family event. You got fed afterwards. It was kind of a nice
Oh, that's my favorite
family
part.
friendly party. And it's like, all right, I'm going to go anyway. If I don't win, who cares?
Oh, yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah.
And you get to hang out with all the other offshore kayak people. And it was just a really nice vibe.
Yeah.
But then you get into some of the inshore tournaments and it's like it's big money, it's very serious. Guys are real secretive about what they're doing and all this stuff. And it just takes on a different vibe. And it's like, okay, that's more hyper competitive and I'm a little more chilled than that. I
Yeah.
just want to go, I want to enjoy my day if I'm gonna go do that.
Yeah. Do you think the extreme? I was gonna say, well, I like the tournaments that everybody just launches in the same spot, right? Like the extreme. Do you think there's any skill to that, or is it just
Yeah, I think that
luck?
makes it more fair.
Right.
Because on our coast, if you know where the structures are down south that you can't see above the surface,
Oh yeah.
there are better fish down south, I
Oh, there's
guarantee it.
people that's all they hit now.
So yeah, and one of those structures is well known now and is not nearly what it used to be.
Yeah, you got to be real
So
careful,
you
man.
have to protect those. If you know about those, keep your mouth shut. Don't take a bunch of people because they will take people and they will take people. And pretty soon you've got a dozen Zodiacs catching 150
Yeah.
red snapper a day off of
Yeah.
that. And
There's guys that'll just stop fishing till it's time to go to those spots.
yeah.
And guess what? They're back. Now they're catching fish again.
And so that was my if I had one beef with the offshore tournaments was if you can launch anywhere, well, those of us launching here at Mayan Princess, we're not going to win versus the guys that went way south.
Yeah.
There's just better fish down
Yeah.
there, unless it's a really off day. Because I have at Bob Hall Pier, I caught the biggest kingfish I've ever seen, and I lost him before I got him in the boat, but he was every bit of 6 feet.
Oh wow.
And for 30 minutes, he was 20 feet below me, and I could not haul him up. And
And
he's
you're on
just
a kayak?
yeah, and he's just chewing on that wire. And I got some video of him. I was heartbroken, but I kind of knew that was going to happen. I could see that one treble, and he's chewing on that wire.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't have the power to pull him up. I hope he gets tired and I can inch him up, but it didn't
Yeah.
happen. But that was up here.
I
But
missed that.
that's few and far between.
2024 is the year that Ram Garcia comes back beyond the breakers. Maybe.
I'll wave at you.
Right. Hey, let's give something away, Glenn. What do you think?
Let's do it.
Right. We're gonna give away a first Spooled Life Live swagger packer. That's what I like to call it, right? The first one of 2024. Who's gonna be the winner? Right. And I hope it's not Austin Matthews. Right. Hey,
Poor
but it is. If it is, then hey, guess what?
He's only won 12 times. Come on.
Right. He's a diehard for sure.
Well, you got to give him that.
Give me your shirts. Martine Giddens wants us to take off our shirts. Are you ready? Here we go.
You know, Marty's an
No.
interesting character.
Right.
I was offshore with him one day and I caught I think it was 57.5-inch kingfish, big kingfish.
Yeah. You know what? Whoever wins this Matt Murphy's in the house. He just got done from duck hunting, I'm sure, right? Hell of a duck hunter. If y'all are interested in duck hunting, give Matt Murphy a call. He'll set you up with a duck hunting extravaganza that you'll be talking about at work the next day, right? You'll just run out of time eating your lunch talking about this trip.
That and you can cook duck gumbo after that.
Oh, yeah. I like them in poppers. I like to wrap the duck in a nice, juicy jalapeno, right?
Bacon wrap it.
Bacon wrap it.
Everything's good that way.
Nice sliver of duck. Nice sliver of cream cheese. Put it in my pellet grill, right? Set the pellet grill about 250. Set it and forget it. Open up a nice Karbach. Before you know it, be eating like a king, dude. Shout out to him. We're also, you know what? This person that wins this swagger packer is gonna win a box of Tazline. Right? We're gonna send you a box of Tazline as well.
And for those of you guys that haven't tried Tazline yet,
Tazline or Tazline?
I call it Taz. It's
right.
Tasmanian.
Oh yeah, like mean.
It's from that corner of the world.
Yeah.
Marty got me started on that stuff. And my first impression was, ooh, it's expensive.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like, I'm not sure that's in my price range, but he said, no, let me give you some. Try it. Trust me, it's worth it.
Yeah.
I've never seen a braid that works like Tazline.
Really?
It's fantastic.
What is it, Marty? Tazline or Tazline? Correct us here. Taz?
He says, if you take your shirt off, it's all right.
Right. Guys, first person to tell me what Glenn's first kayak was. We're gonna send you a Spooled Life Live swagger packer to include a box of Martine Giddens Tazline. Right. Gonna send it to you. First person. There he goes. We already have a winner. Austin Matthews, Malibu Extreme. Is that it? That's it.
My battleship.
Austin Matthews, you are the winner, amigo. We need to get Austin Matthews. 2024 is the year of Austin Matthews. We're gonna get him on the show, and we need to find out who the hell Austin Matthews is.
Well, and if he's on the show, he won't win the prize.
No, he won't. Somebody else will. That's for damn sure. Congratulations, man. Hey, slide into my DMs. You got 24 hours to slide into my DMs. We're going to send you a hell of a package that includes Martine Giddens Tazline. If y'all don't know, Martine Giddens is the owner of Tazline and Burley Pro, right? Cruise into their websites and give them a like and give them a share and give them a, hit that thumbs up button, that blue one, and a couple more things. The future of kayaking. Does it get better or does it get worse?
It expands.
Think so?
It doesn't expand in the direction I wish it would, but it will expand.
Really?
So the public is catching on to the fact that kayaks will get you places that boats can't. So a lot of people the perception has been, I think, common perception among power boaters is the kayakers are the people that can't afford a boat.
Yeah.
So they're stuck with a kayak for them.
Yeah.
For a lot of us, it's like, no, I'm closer to nature.
Right.
I've become a better fisherman because I'm in a kayak, and I catch more fish offshore and inshore because I'm in a kayak,
Mhm.
because it's sneaky.
Oh yeah.
So in the shallows, I go places in multiple bay systems, and I can't tell you how many times I've had it where a guide and the client are outside watching me catch fish after fish, and the client's on the casting deck going, why can't we go back there?
Yeah.
And the guide's like, we can't get back there. I'm like, that's
Well,
right.
there's going to be a lot of people that will say, "Oh yeah, my boat can get back there," but you got to be about going 30, 40 miles an hour.
And then you're going to hit that sponsor Towboat US to try.
Yeah, exactly. See Tow Corpus
They
Christi.
have an airboat, they can
Yeah.
get you out.
Oh, they'll go get you out in a heartbeat. There's just something I feel that I'm going backwards. Like now, I don't even want to drive on my kayak.
Oh, to paddle?
Yeah, I don't even want to paddle either. Right? It's my biggest thing is getting the from the truck to the boat. Now, that's Ram Garcia problems right there. Right.
Right. And
Once I'm in the water, it don't matter how heavy that
when
kayak
I
is.
first noticed that trend of going more to motors, my first thought was, well, everybody's getting lazy.
Yeah.
But the more I look at it, it's like that's not necessarily it for most people. I think it's a means to an end. And it's like this is an affordable, sneaky way to get out there to the fish, and I'm not exhausted when I get back.
Yeah.
With me, I'm like, I'm exhausted because I want to be exhausted. I want to work out.
Yeah, that was the point.
So that's part of the point. Plus, I'm bringing home a load of fish that I can go share with friends, and that was the other part of the point.
Yeah.
Um, but you ask about the future of the kayak industry, and I see it getting wider, bigger kayaks that need a motor,
Oh yeah.
and that's more and more. You look in the front of Roy's, and they've got probably the best selection of kayaks in South Texas. Most of them are suited to set up with a motor or at least with a pedal drive, but
Yeah.
many of them with motors, they're kind of designed that way now.
Yeah.
And I don't have a hard time with that. They still can't keep up with me,
Oh, dude, I guarantee they
and
can.
they still can't get super shallow with that motor. So if you look at the good fishermen who use motorized kayaks, the motor is to get you to the neighborhood, and then you shut it off, pull it out of the water, and you paddle as well, because
Yeah.
that's how you get in the shallows.
Is there anybody else that's paddling like you?
I'm sure there are. I don't know who in South Texas who else
Like you
does
don't
that.
talk to anybody that's like, yeah, dude, I did
I
400 miles this
I
week,
would hope they would kind of rise into my circle and
but I
reach
also
out.
fish. There are probably some, but that's all they do, right? Probably like in the Austin area.
Well, and I know there's one in Mathis and George West, a guy that has I think his is a not a stealth, but it's one of the surf skis,
Okay.
real fast fiberglass, high dollar one. But he goes out in nice weather and he'll put a few miles in, and you don't see him again for a long time.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I get if that's what you want to do, that's fine. For
Right.
me, I want to be on the water every day I can get on the water.
Yeah.
So I have a couple of stealth kayaks that are fiberglass.
Mm.
They're not good in the shell. They're not good around rigs offshore.
Oh, really?
No, they
What are they
don't
good at?
sand
Okay.
or clean open water.
Mm.
So nothing slides across the water like fiberglass, and they're light, they're stiff. They don't use kayak seats. You sit up and you use your core.
Oh.
And so I've developed a stronger core than I realized because I take my Marine Corps son to the gym and we go
Oh,
work out
Marty's just
4 or 5 times a week.
he's got a whole bunch of saliva coming out right now, Marty.
And I've got a spare tire on top of it.
Right.
I've got quite a core
Oh, they're
because
there.
I run circles around my son,
Oh, really?
who looks like, G.I. Joe muscle man
And he has the
in the
bee.
core stuff.
He's the bee guy now, right?
Yeah.
The live bee
Yeah, beekeeper.
extraction, right?
Yep.
Guys, I ran into that issue at my house, and people were pissed off at me for killing these things. Hey, I told them things.
They make the best honey. You're not going to find that kind of honey at the store.
I don't know if these things had honey.
Even the killer bees make fantastic honey.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's the one I would like to try, the killer bee one.
Um, we've We've dealt with killer bees
How do you
several
know when
times
they're killer bees?
because I'm a co-owner, or I work with him on those jobs.
No, I know, but how do you know when it's a killer
When
bee?
you stir up a normal beehive, 20 or 30 will try to sting you during your job.
Oh,
With the killer bees, every bee who sees you is trying to kill you the entire time.
oh wow,
Sometimes they will cover your face mask. You have to brush them off so you can see what you're doing because you're just
wow.
looking at stingers and faces.
And you're getting stung
Oh, yeah.
at least a couple times.
Yeah. Our last job in Sinton, I think I took 18 stings and my son had over 30.
So you definitely
They were,
don't want to be
they were
allergic
not
to this
happy.
stuff.
But the bee venom does some cool things for you
Oh, really?
if you don't become allergic to it. That's one possibility, and that would be bad. But if you don't have an allergic response to the bee venom, my finger joints that were becoming arthritic because I'm 55 and I've done a lot of stuff with paddling and all that,
Hmm.
my arthritis has gone away.
Oh, wow.
And I talked to a marine biologist friend of mine who's really smart with that kind of stuff, and he said, bee venom will do that. It will reverse rheumatism and the arthritis issues that you've got.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, I think I'll stay in that bee business for a while.
Right. Say so everybody watching, hey, before y'all go kill that beehive with that broomstick.
Kick it around, let them sting you.
Yeah.
Marty, go ahead.
Right. Right. Guys, it's been a hell of a show. Should we get well, I don't want to get into too much of what's happening in 2024, right? But where can we find Glenn Madden
I've got,
on media sites?
I'm on Facebook. I've got 2 pages on Facebook. I've got Professor Salt Outdoors and I've got Glenn Madden.
Oh, okay.
Um, and so if I don't friend you on the Glenn Madden side, I'm trying not to overdo my friends. And I've got a bunch of church friends and other people on that side.
Yeah.
The Professor Salt side is all my fishing and hunting stuff and
Okay.
outdoor stuff. Um, I'm on Instagram. It's Professor Salt on Instagram. And then on YouTube, originally it was Professor Salt on YouTube, and then they said no nicknames. You had to put your name.
Oh, really?
So it's just Glenn Madden on YouTube.
Man, that's weird. Right?
Not everybody had that rule applied to them, but I did.
Oh. Because I have Spooled Life Live on YouTube.
Yeah, so I don't know. I just got a grumpy person that day or what, but they made me change it.
Man, that's pretty crazy. Right.
It's all right.
What's in store for 2024?
I'm going to paddle. Hold me
Right.
to it.
And you're going to buy everything from Roy's Bait and Tackle.
I do anyway.
Because you have a Roy's Bait and Tackle jersey on.
Well, yeah, I'm sponsored by Roy's.
Tell us about that. You've been here for years, right?
Yeah.
You're probably one of the first ones.
Since I think they sponsored like some shark fishermen and things like that. Of course they did, because that's kind of where Roy's came from.
Right.
But I think I was part of the first team of kayaking related stuff that they put together. And Rocky, I think, told me, he said, when we voted, we got together in a meeting and we voted on who we're going to bring onto our team. He said, there were 2 people who were unanimous yes, and you were one of them.
Mm.
Like, wow, I'm honored.
Yeah.
And so I really try and do right by them, but I try and do that anyway. And I've had a lot of groups over the years reach out, hey, can we sponsor you?
Mm-hmm.
And if it's something I'm not going to use or that I would rather not use,
Right.
I just politely decline.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I don't want to be a used car salesman. I want to
You
use
just can't
this
say
stuff.
yes to all of them, right? I mean,
And I don't want to or need to.
yeah.
And I've got the fishing gear I want to use now. So, with Roy's, I'm going to run out of plastics. The fish are going to eat them. I'm going to run out of jig heads. I'm going to break a rod once in a while. I need to go restock.
Yeah.
So this one fits. Let's see, Railblazer, um, Robert Field,
Oh, yeah.
pretty well known YouTube and Facebook guy.
Lightning kayaks.
Robert
Right.
Field called me. I was on a hunt years ago, and my phone rang at the hotel, and he goes, "Hey, Glenn, it's Robert Field." And I thought, "Why are you calling me?" Well, I had helped introduce him to offshore kayaking back in the day. I think we took him out his first trip, or one of the very early trips,
and now he's on
showed him
TV.
the ropes. Yeah,
Right?
he's a part owner of Los Buzos, I think. So
Oh,
down
really?
in Panama.
Oh, wow.
So he called me up and he hooked me up with Yak Gear and Railblazer.
Mm.
And Viking came on through them, and then I've stayed with Viking even after they separated out. Um, but Siegler Reels
Mm-hmm.
started out as Truth Reels and went through a
Yeah.
couple of different name changes, legal issues for people not wanting them to use different names. But he finally just used his last name, which I wish he'd have started there to begin with. But
Right.
um, and then Marty with his, with Burley Pro
Oh yeah.
and
Good stuff.
Tasline.
Yeah.
Uh, and then I like to help veterans groups,
Okay.
but like Wounded Warriors, not Wounded Warriors, Heroes on the Water.
Oh yeah.
They do kayaking trips.
Yeah.
And I've done some of those in the past, but where I find a better fit for me is I'll find individuals
Right.
who have done that stuff and you just want to go out and learn something specific. And it's like, look, I'll go with you and I'll tailor what we're doing and I'll show you how to do some of this. So I've developed good relationships with a few vets who
Yeah.
were started out in those groups. And one of them hooked me up with a guy, Josh G. Forrest, who makes FFK rods, and they are the sweetest rods that you can imagine. He's built them for me where they're rain shadow blanks and all
Oh
top
really?
end carbon grips and all
What
that
is it
stuff.
called?
And
FFA?
FFK.
FFK.
He builds them with his daughter, who's 12, and he kind of lets her call some of the shots on
Yeah.
different things. She's got a real eye for color coordination.
Oh yeah.
So like the wraps and stuff, what's going to go better, this kind of green or that kind of green? He says, I'm going to refer to the ace, and she knows.
Yeah.
She always knows what's going to work well. So I told him what I wanted on mine, and he goes, well, by the way, you didn't ask, but the ace approves of what you're doing. This is going to look sweet.
Yeah.
But the name of the rod company is Fluffy Fishy Killer Rods.
Oh, there you go. That sounds.
And it's like this cartoon ninja cat kicking a fish with a rod in his hand or
Oh
something like
really?
that. It's kind of cool and corny, but he did that because his daughter came up with that.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I'm totally cool. I'll rock that shirt.
Right.
Um, and it's a good cause. It's a good guy, and he helps a lot of the veterans groups and things like that. So that's kind of my sponsorship right now. And Viking Kayak, I'm big with them. Um, I still have a couple of stealth kayaks because sometimes that's the best kayak for what I'm trying to go do.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm trying to do 30 miles today, I'm going to take the easiest kayak I can possibly glide along the water in, and that's probably the stealth.
Yeah.
But for most general stuff, the Vikings are hard to beat. And if you're going to
Really?
buy one kayak, I can't think of a better paddle kayak that does everything well than the Viking Reload. It's a really sweet boat.
Yeah. And you can find those here at Roy's Bait and Tech.
As you can.
Right. Guys, if y'all have any questions about kayaking in general, right? Cruise in to the knowledgeable staff here at Roy's Bait and Tackle.
You did mention 2024 and what that's bringing on, and
Yeah, what are you doing in 2024, Glenn?
maybe I'll bring this out and tell people about it so that I can kind of hold my feet to the fire. But I've been working for several years on a book, and I've had a lot of trips offshore and a lot of trips inshore where I don't die,
Right?
but weird stuff happened and I could have died or
That's always a
it
plus
crossed my
for sure.
mind.
Coming back home.
Um, and hooking, multiple big sharks at the same time and being hard headed and saying, I'm not cutting one loose. I'm going to catch them both at the same time.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're dragging me offshore. I can't see the shore anymore, but I'm going to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's been a lot of interesting things happen. Um, a lot of people don't realize we have great white sharks here.
Oh, really?
And I've been up close and personal.
In the Gulf?
Yes, right there where everybody fishes in kayaks.
Oh, wow.
Um, it takes the right conditions, but sometimes they come in and I don't want to meet one again. That was
Yeah.
about the scariest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah. So what is the book about?
It's
Your
my
adventures?
adventures.
Okay. So we're gonna give away one
I don't have it done yet.
when it comes out.
I'm trying to
right?
get it done.
The first book we're gonna give away here on Spool Life Live, right? Man, that's amazing. I want to see that, dude. That's gonna be cool. That's coming in 2024.
And it's not going to be, a 1,000-page book. It's
Yeah.
probably going to be 150 pages.
Yeah,
But
that's perfect.
I tell short stories.
Yeah.
And so if it's 3 or 4 pages about a trip that was really memorable, that's enough.
Yeah.
So I like doing that. I'll put some of that, I write in the Saltwater Angler
Oh yeah.
every couple of weeks, and it's like that. It's one page. It's just the short story of what have I been doing lately?
Yeah.
What's working lately?
Right.
And I like that more than people just telling fish stories. I want to show, okay, here's where I'm going. Here's the type of structures I'm targeting. Here's the color, and here's why you need to work it this way.
Right.
So just try to make it as realistic and helpful as you can,
Yeah.
so that people get something out of it.
Man, it's been a hell of a show. I don't know if we've had a better show than this in 2024.
I haven't.
Right. I don't think Spool Life Live has either. Right. I want to thank one more time my headline sponsors, right? Roy's Bait and Tackle, Sarge Custom Rods, AFTCO clothing is what I'm wearing right now. You probably couldn't see me because of this camouflagey looking shirt. I want to talk about it. This is derived from nature. It's called the Optimer. Astronauts use phase change materials to reduce overheating and prevent chills under extreme conditions, like having a built-in thermostat. Optimer Adapt technology utilizes a natural PSM designed to reuse, restore, and recycle the body's thermal energy to enhance overall comfort.
Sounds impressive.
Guys, if that doesn't make you come into Roy's Bait and Tackle and get you some stuff, some of the stuff is right behind us, right? The Reaper uh, hoodies, right? You're going to need something. I guarantee you. It might not freeze. You might not have to go board up y'all's windows, right? You might not have to go underneath underneath the house and inspect every line you got and make sure you got insulation, but it's going to get cold.
And when it's in the 30s and
For
the wind's
sure.
blowing, the fish are still biting. So you need to get out on the water.
Yeah, get out on the water until they tell you to get off the water.
Just dress for it.
Right. Guys, it's been a hell of a show. The next flyer will be out here in a couple of days, a couple of weeks, around there sometime. What else you got, Glenn? That's it?
I would say if you come into Roy's, take a minute, maybe grab Joe Alcala,
Yeah.
ask for him. They'll pull him aside for you.
Yeah.
And ask him, why should I check out Z-Man Baits? I'm not sponsored by Z-Man, and I'm not looking for sponsorship, but I buy a lot of Z-Man stuff because once I figured out how to use that system and figured out why it works so well, that's what I throw.
Right.
If I'm inshore looking for redfish, it's something from Z-Man, unless I'm using a fly rod. They don't make flies, but they make this real stretchy, really strong plastic. It's the first plastic bait where I can guarantee you can get 50 redfish on the same plastic bait, and they're still eating it when you
I think it's
decide,
called
what?
Aztec or something.
Yeah.
Right.
And it doesn't mix well with in your tackle box with other baits. They'll melt. They're not the same.
Yeah.
But leave it in the Ziploc it came in until you're using it. And those baits are fantastic. They really have something with that. And I'm not sure why all plastic baits are not moving that way. I kind of think they should.
Yeah, that's tough for me because when I get off the water, I don't want to clean anything. I want to get home and more than likely get something to eat.
And a lot of people say you got to pull that Z-Man stuff off and put it back in its own tackle box.
Oh, yeah.
I leave it on my rods. I hose the whole thing off and hang it up in the room, in my fishing room. Next time I'm ready, I pull it out, tighten the drags, and away we go.
Right.
So it just sits there for weeks on end. The same bait stays on my rod.
Right.
And they do fine.
Yeah.
The only time it has a problem is if you put it next to some other kind of plastic.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
And then
So your truck dash, it'll melt.
Yeah, you leave them in your truck, they're going to melt.
In your tackle box,
You
with
leave
other
them in
plastics, it'll melt.
with another bait, right? They're going to melt.
Different type of bait, yeah. But they are really fish catching baits if you learn how to rig them and how to use them, and don't mix them with other baits.
Yeah, for sure. Marshwear clothing. Down South Lures, my lure of choice, the lure of choice of Spool Life Live. Tow Corpus Christi, guys, if y'all are on a boat, I don't think they will support a kayaker. I think you have to have some sort of horsepower, above 15 horsepower or something like that, to get them to come after you.
I would bet if you pay the dues, they probably rescue you in whatever you're in.
I don't think so.
No?
No, we had him on the show last year, and
Well, I'm disappointed.
Yeah, man, that'd be amazing. Hey, can come pick me up and drop me off over there? You know
I
what I mean?
paddled 15 miles into the flats and caught my
Right.
fish. Come get me.
I don't think so. I don't think they support the kayaker just yet. There was something in the works, but I want to say there was a 15 horsepower minimum, maximum kind of deal there. Man, you never know, man. If you're on a boat, especially, you never know what's going to happen, dude. You know, I see guys getting stuck all the time, especially being on a kayak, right? Get it? It helps, right? Karbach Brewery. What were we drinking today? What was I drinking, right? Ranch water, the watermelon flavor.
I drink from the other Karbach brewery, but
Yeah, there you go. The evil one,
yeah,
right? 4.5% alcohol kept us going all day long. Me, right? Carlos is in the house, right? All the way from Robstown, Texas. Here we go. And it's gluten free, you know, gluten free in 2024. Keeping healthy. If you don't want to use the paddle, right? You got to keep your diets up to par.
I paddle so much I eat as much gluten as I can.
Hey, that's what I'm thinking, man. Do you barbecue a lot?
I eat whatever I want to eat.
Really?
Yeah.
Pizza and
Ice
what
cream.
do you if you're going to B&J's Pizza, what are you getting on it?
I'll probably get the deluxe or the all everything that they've got.
Oh yeah,
I take it all.
like a meat lovers
Yeah,
kind of deal. Supreme is it?
supreme.
Yeah,
Yeah, because it's got
Supreme kind of
veggies.
deal.
It's got veggies and meat and all
Oh
kinds
yeah,
of everything.
yeah. I'm more of like a if you're gonna let me pick 4 toppings, I'm more like a 3 jalapeno and single pepperoni. Right.
I'll even do the spinach pizza. I
Oh
like all
wow.
kinds of pizza.
Oh, that's healthy as hell. Yeah. Thank you so much,
Tasty.
guys. It's been a hell of a show. Like I said, the next flyer will come out here in a couple days, maybe a week. We're going hunting tomorrow. You know, wish me luck. It's been a long time
I
since
hope the
we.
turkeys don't bother you as much as
Oh
they did
yeah,
me this
man.
morning.
Oh, I'll blast one of them, dude. You know, I'll get one of them turkeys quick.
I had over 50 turkeys rush in and steal all my deer corn. Almost
That's
left.
tough, right? That. But you're with a bow too,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I just bow hunt.
You can't just shoot a arrow over there and scare them all away.
They won't run.
No, they might just fly off and then come
I
right
have to
back.
climb down and run them off. But then the deer in the distance can see that, and they're
Oh
not
yeah,
coming back.
yeah. Well,
So it is what it is.
yeah. That's part of hunting, right? If
Yep.
it if it was catching
Yeah, if it was easy, it
or
wouldn't be nearly
shooting,
as much fun.
right? It wouldn't be called hunting. It'd be called shooting,
Killing.
right? Killing. There you go. Guys, thank y'all so much. We'll see y'all in a couple weeks. You got anything else, Glenn? That's it. We're good.
I'm good if you're good.
Alston Matthews, congratulations again. You got 24 hours to slide into my DMs, man, or we're going to give this thing away to somebody else. Guys, it's been a hell of a show. Thank y'all for coming back again in 2024. Guys, we got so many shows lined up already and so many good items that we're going to give back to the viewing anglers that it's just, I'm like, dude, I want to keep all this stuff, right? I'm not even going to give this stuff away. I'm going to keep it all. I'm just kidding, right? We'll see y'all next time. I want to say the show is in 2 weeks. So y'all mark y'all's calendars, get y'all's car box ready. It's going to be a hell of a year, guys.
And if you see me on the water, give me a shout.
Yeah, say hi to Glenn, guys. Don't just go around. Oh my God, that's Glenn. Let me just follow him from a distance to jot down his
Yeah,
coordinates.
don't follow me. Pull me over, and I'll show you what I'm doing.
Yeah,
You can catch fish on your own too.
you can stop any member of the Roy's Bait and Tackle Pro Team, and they will give you advice, guys. Right? Don't hesitate to stop somebody to ask. I mean, what's the worst thing that could happen? Them say no, right?
Worst thing is I've already caught all the fish in that area, but
Yeah.
probably not.
They'll say no and just delete them on, just delete them off Facebook. See y'all next time, guys.